Hi guys. So I assume you've now all watched the Sweetch business case. What I'd like to do with you is spend a few minutes discussing what the business is about, how the business was built, and then what happened. If you remember, the core observation that the business was built is very simple. It's about the idea that driving in big cities is stressful. Everyone knows that. Stats confirm it. People spend on average 20 minutes looking for a parking spot. 30% of traffic at peak time is comprised of vehicle drivers looking for a parking spot. 6 out of 10 drivers actually give up throughout the way. So it is a big problem. So the idea that Sweetch founders had is very simple, is to organize a simple exchange system between people leaving a parking spot and people looking for a parking spot. That exchange system would take place through a $5 exchange, out of which Sweetch would keep a $1 commission. When they got that idea, they started to test the core hypothesis of the idea, which is what good entrepreneurs are doing. The first hypothesis that they tested is, are people willing to pay to remove the pain, to find a parking spot? So they stood up in the street, and that was a very smart, very simple way to do that, with handwritten displays, looking for a parking spot. And they just analyzed how much people were actually stopping by to discuss with them. And the idea was, are people ready to pay for that? So they tested different price level and observed that people would be ready to pay up to $5 to find a parking spot in the street. This being done, they moved on to the second core hypothesis, the incentive to report. Because you need, in front of someone who looks for a parking spot, to find someone who is about to leave a parking spot. So same thing, they did that in a very smart, very cheap way. They printed out coupons on which was written, report, help someone else to park. And that with different price level, $0, $1, $2, $3, $4, $5. Interestingly enough, at $0, no one reported that they were about to leave their parking spot. People were not interested in being kind to other drivers. And the threshold actually is located at $5. When the price is $5, they observed that 50% of the drivers reported 5 minutes before that they were about to leave their parking spot. So that was the second core hypothesis. At $5, people are incentivized enough to report that fact. So the third thing that they tested is very simple, is can we match in real time demand and offer? Can we connect in real time the driver who's looking for a parking spot and the driver who is about to leave a parking spot? Same thing. They did that in a very smart way. They went to Mission District with their handwritten displays, with their $5 coupons. They distributed the coupons on the windshields of the car parked in the surrounding. And they waited until people reported that they were about to leave their parking spot. And then they used their signage to spot people in the neighborhood who were looking for a parking spot. By doing that, they managed to make 8 switches in 2 hours. 4 per hour, which if you relate that to the size of the team, there were 4 people for handling manually the whole process, looks pretty promising. So once they had done that, they thought, we have a business. We know that people are ready to pay up to $5. We know that at $5, people are incentivized enough to report that they are leaving their parking spot, and we demonstrated it is possible to match in real time demand and offer, to connect in real time these two people. We have a business, don't we? So what is the next step once you reach that level? Make it happen. Build a business. So they went back to San Francisco. They developed the app, because it's basically an app. And they worked on launching small at first, launching in a district in San Francisco, in Mission District more specifically, which is known for having traffic issues, with the idea of conquering the US. Remember the market slide, 247,000 drivers with a smartphone with a low hypothesis of 2 switches per week. That represents potentially a 100 million switch market for San Francisco per year. $1 commission, so it's a $100 million market for San Francisco, which, when you expand it to the 50 biggest city in the US, represents a $7.7 billion market. That's a pretty exciting business, isn't it? So they launched in Mission District with that high goal in perspective. They started to do some street marketing in Mission District, approaching drivers in Mission Districts, and very quickly they got several hundred downloads, 600 downloads in a few weeks. Very promising. But the problem they realized they were confronted to is that they had almost zero switch. People downloaded the app, but it seemed that no one was using it. So the question then becomes, what did they miss? Isn't there a core question throughout the process of testing their core hypothesis? Isn't there a very important question that they missed? So which question, which core question did they miss? Have a clue?